Good morning. Welcome to Tip Off. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. I've kind of come out of my hibernation, as I do every year right about now. I hit the hay quite early and suddenly realize there's no next game. There's no adrenaline to carry you. There's no nothing else to that needs to be taken care of, and get some considerable sleep. That's largely. I think I hit the hay around 8:30 and it just popped up. Yesterday was Locker Clear Out. I thought there were a lot of takeaways I wanted to share with you today on tip off. Fun ones from the fact that Gordon Hayward's not sure he's used any part of any paycheck yet, other than when he bought his car and bought some furniture. He's used everything else on endorsements and per diem. Jeremy Evans telling the story about them going to Subway sandwiches and how often they eat Subway. Gordon sharing they got $2,500 of Subway to start the year from a promotion he did. He gave $1,000 to his girlfriend. The two of Jeremy and Gordon have been working on $1,500 of Subway, and they have another thousand left. And that they have eaten Subway virtually every day on the road, which I can attest this is accurate. So there were a lot of fun things. I thought the takeaway that was interesting on Gordon is he was really disappointed to not be in the playoffs. The 34-point game and the game against the Lakers, those didn't seem to matter to him. Those didn't fire him up or get him excited in any way, shape, or form to, as he headed home. This was a kid who's, I think, played the state championship game his junior and his senior year. And then obviously Butler, I think they went Sweet 16 and then to the final game. So he's not used to this. I thought that was nice to see that takeaway from him. And just a different level. I got to know him very well over the year and spent a lot of time with him. And, uh, not, let me rephrase that. I got to know him fairly well. I mean, as I said to somebody, you have probably 35-minute conversations, maybe 45, 55-minute conversations. You do get to know someone along the way. And it's just interesting to see him grow up and how much he's developed and is a different kid and has an aura about him. I mean, I had an interesting conversation with him a while back where I was like, this is going to become your franchise at some point. And he was just kind of looking at me like, what? But it's pretty clear that that's going to happen at some point along the way. Uh, the other takeaway I thought was Derek Favors. We played that a lot yesterday on Bowler Jack, Locke, and Gerard, but in case you missed it, and I'm going to try to put these all together for a podcast for you at some point today. Uh, he got a little bitter. He got a little angry, and I'm not sure if we knew that was in him, and that was the question that got him. Do you have it inside of you? And boy, he showed that he did, and shared that he was really quite upset about being traded, and had some things that he was really looking to um, try to, the score he was trying to equal. And those are the things that are going to drive him in the offseason and hopefully get things taken care of. Wow, I just looked at my YouTube picture. My eyes are puffy, and I look like Hell. Wow. Tired, dude. Sorry. Uh, you do. You just run, man. You just run from one game to the next. That's what you do. You finish a game and you figure out what your next game is and when you're getting your prep done to that game and how you're getting everything else done. I mean, the job's not. I don't want to make the job sound like it's great. There's a lot of stuff and there's travel, and most people that are listening to this probably have a job that's not as fun. So I understand that, and probably have a job that's more grueling in a lot of ways, with a lot more stress than simply telling you what's happening to players on a basketball floor. But there is an exhaustion level that's undeniable, and I just looked at myself in the YouTube picture, and it's clear. Wow. Some other takeaways. I thought Ben Bagley had the key moment of everything at Locker Clear Out when he asked. He had the, good for him. He had the guts to do it. He's very, very good in that setting. He has a good relationship with those guys, so he's able to ask it. He asked Paul Millsap about if, you know, he would be willing to come off the bench next year, and Paul said that's not something I want to consider, and that makes things really tough because, as one former coach said to me yesterday, when they hit training camp, whenever that is next year, and they put on the starter jerseys, Derek Favors should have a starter jersey on. He's got a chance to be great, and he's your future. And Paul has earned a tremendous amount of respect and works very, very hard and deserves a great deal of accolades for what he's done. But I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have any doubt Derek Favors is your starting power forward over Paul Millsap long term. So what do you do about this? And then you get into a tricky situation where Paul is the heart and soul of the franchise in the way he approaches everything, but he also has his value at the highest point it is ever going to be, and that's when you got to move guys. And particularly if he doesn't want to be the third big. So I'm sitting down with Kevin O'Connor today. I'm going to try to get into that with Kevin. We're going to do a lengthy year in review, preview, look ahead interview that will air on 1320 KFan on Monday. So that should be interesting. If you have, and I'm going to try to dig into some things, where the season went awry and things of that sort, and see what answers we can get in that. Big Al was his usual positive self in the interview takeaway, I thought, from that end of things. Raja was interesting in the sense that Raja said he didn't practice his jump shot enough in the offseason and really has no concerns because if he just practices his jump shot, everything will be all right. I thought that was almost mysterious, maybe, was the answer. I was just surprised he hadn't practiced it, but maybe coming off that wrist injury, he didn't work on it as much. And then I guess he can't say, oh, yeah, my body slowed down, I'm struggling, but I just thought that he wasn't some of his physical reactions defensively were not what they once were. For Raja Bell. All right, were there any other takeaways for you? I gave you Gordon, I gave you Millsap, I gave you Favors. The other one I just took away, and this doesn't help any in wins and the season's still over, but these were just generally all around high-level human beings. Earl Watson, Ronnie Price really is just a great dude. CJ Miles wants it so badly, maybe too badly in a lot of ways. And I think when you just, it doesn't help, it's not like the guys didn't, I don't know, there's just scenarios that could be a lot worse, I guess. And that doesn't make you feel better as a Jazz fan, you're not in the playoffs. But these were good human beings, good people, good dudes. And that core will send you in the right direction. If you got bad dudes and you're losing, then you've got some really significant problems. These guys are all good dudes doing the right thing, trying to win. They lacked some cohesiveness and they lack some togetherness, but I think that for the most part you've got guys that are interested in doing the right thing. Definitely the locker room kind of fell apart on a trust level on the floor, but it wasn't. I don't think it was because sabotaging and things of that sort that'll never go away. But could be wrong on that. The long-term discussion I think has to be where the franchise is. Tyrone talked about we're not doing this in April again. Al talked about that. Everyone talked about that, but on the other level, since February 1st, the Jazz have the 28th record in the NBA. Only Minnesota, I think, was actually worse. I think they were tied for 28th. So you got to really evaluate where you are as a franchise, how close you are. Making a playoff run, trying to make a playoff run when you don't have the talent, you're better off kind of letting the younger talent develop and getting another draft pick or two. And that's hard to swallow. We've never done that as a franchise before. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see where the franchise is. I guess the most interesting will be when we ever play again with a lockout pending. Lots of things to talk about. I'm going to do a series, if I have time, on just where things went awry and things of that nature. If you're a numbers person, I put up a bunch of numbers yesterday for all of you on who had what kind of years. And what I think is interesting on that was that Millsap and Karolinko were the two highest rated offensive players, other than Jeremy Evans, who just didn't play very much. And those are maybe the two most likely to not be on the roster again next year. And then what does that mean? How are you possibly running an offense that has if you're losing your two most efficient players? So lots of different things to talk about. We'll continue to. Hit me up if you've got questions. The draft selection will be chosen, I guess today. It's Friday at some point, whether the Jazz are 5 or 6. With the Nets pick, they'll split the lottery balls, and the Jazz are sitting at 12 with their other pick. And we'll start a tremendous amount of draft breakdowns for you and the sort. All right, that wraps up tip-off today. Sorry I'm so sleepy, but I wanted to get something to you today as I hadn't gotten much to you this week. And an early morning tip-off as I come out of hibernation briefly and maybe go back to sleep. Talk to you at 3 o'clock today. Ben Bagley will be with me hosting Bowler Jack, Locke, and Gerard. All right, YouTubers. Sorry you had to look at this. It's a very scary sight today. Hope you're good.